Hi again, everybody. My name is Greg Anderson, and this is the Good Timekeeping Show with Greg Anderson, selfie mode edition. Hey, my wife was shopping the other day, and she said, "Hey, I'm on the other side of town where there's that other Walmart. Would you like me to stop in there and see if they have any more clearance watches on sale over there?" And I said, "Well, if it's not too much trouble, I don't want you to go too far out of your way." So she looked, and they had in their clearance cabinet, they had some watches, but only one of them was a Casio watch. And it's this one right here. So let's talk about it. Well, here you go. It's a very budget-friendly watch. It's the MRW-200H-3BV. Now, those last, that 3BV at the end of the model number is actually refers to the different variations you can have here. So anything that starts with MRW-200H will be the same functions and features, but the numbers after that could indicate different colors here on, right, all these green letters and numbers here would be maybe available in a different color. Also, maybe there's some where it doesn't have every number around the dial as much as this one does here. Maybe it just has the 12, 6, and 9 marked, or, just Roman numerals, things like that. There are those variations, but effectively the same watch with just those minor cosmetic differences if it starts with MRW-200H. And they would all use the same module. This is module 5125. Pretty simple. It just runs the hour, minute, and second hands. And also here where it's showing you the day of the week and the day of the month. That's all there. Just a single crown here to make all your adjustments. It's pretty straightforward, and you can find variations of this watch for about $20 each. So keeping that in mind, it might be fun to come up with a collection. I'll show you here. It just has a very basic resin watch band, not too stiff, not too soft, and just a regular back there where there are 4 tiny screws holding the back of the watch in. So if you ever need to replace the battery, pretty easy to get to it. And pretty straightforward. Now, it's a 100-meter water resistance. Some people say, well, that's not adequate for a dive watch. It's just kind of on the fringes of what would be suitable for a dive watch. But I think for skin diving and maybe for diving without scuba gear, without, air tanks and stuff, I think you'd be fine using this just about anywhere you want to go underwater. So let's just go through the setup here. Of course, if you got this watch brand new, it wouldn't be set correctly, I'll bet. So the first thing you want to do is pull the crown out, and the crown actually has 2 positions. So the first position is just for adjusting the day of the week and the date. It's a little bit stiff there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so if I turn it this way, which is clockwise, or it'd be like I'm pushing this away from me, that's where you can set the day of the week, either in Spanish or in English. And if I pull it the other way, then it advances the day of the month, or the date there. So, okay, you got those. But what you really want to know is whether this is indicating AM or PM. So I'm going to pull this out to the second position. So if I pull the crown all the way out, sorry, it's a little bit stiff, maybe just because it's new. Okay, if I do that, then it stops the second hand, as you can see, and then it allows you to advance the hand. So what I recommend here is advance it until it gets to, approaching midnight. And there you see, okay, the date was starting to turn, and it did advance, and now the day of the week has advanced. So this indicates that right now it's about 4:30 in the morning. That's what the watch is displaying. So now that I know that, I can set it to the correct time for me right now, which is about 5:45. So I'm not going to be super, a PM rather. So I'm not going to be super exact here, but I'm just going to say that that's my time. And then if I push this all the way in, then it's all set. Now, Casio recommends that when you set the watch, you need to set it ahead about 4 or 5 minutes from where it should be, and then back it up before you settle in on the time. That helps the mechanism stay more accurate. Now, if I wanted to be super precise, I could stop the second hand right when it's pointed straight up at the 12, and then I could set these hands and I could push it in, when I was right exactly at the start of that minute. So, you have that ability to do that. And then it's supposed to maintain its time to within 20 seconds a month. So, not too bad, especially for an inexpensive watch, but a nice quartz watch. So maybe I'll try that, and I'll get back with you and see how well it maintains its time based on that 20 seconds a month accuracy that it's supposed to have. It might even be better than that. Well, now that I've done this, and so the time is correct, and I'm confident that this is showing, about 5:46 p.m., I want to correct this readout right here. So I'll pull this out to the first position, so not all the way out, just the first click there. And again, if I move ahead here, the actual day of the week for me is Friday. So not jueves, but Friday. Okay. And then if I do this the other way, the actual day of the month right now is the 12th. So if I just go ahead here to the 12th, I'll be set. Now, by default, every month is going to be 31 days long, right? So you will have to, I guess 5 times a year, when you get to the end of a month that doesn't have 31 days, you'll have to just advance that to where it gets to the first of the month. But other than that, you won't have a lot of adjustments. And maybe, once a month would be a good time if you're really a stickler about the second hand to make sure that that's synchronized as well. So I'm going to take that ahead to the 12. And okay, 12, and there I go. And then, I'm all set. Then, okay, you do have a rotating bezel here. And I guess, a really high quality diver's watch would not allow you to turn this bezel clockwise. In this case, you can turn it either way, clockwise or counterclockwise. And it turns pretty easily, pretty smooth. Not a lot of resistance there as I turn that. And of course, if you're a diver, you would want to turn this maybe to keep track of how many minutes on your air tank or time that you're decompressing or whatever. So you line this up with the minute hand, and then as the minute hand advances, then it's been 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes from when you started. That's the official way to use this rotating bezel. But you can do whatever you want with it. And so there you go. Diver's style watch, but it's made of resin. It's pretty lightweight, pretty easy to use and pretty inexpensive. So, some people would consider this a beater watch, or maybe something you would give to maybe a young person, maybe their first watch. I kind of was intrigued by the bright green, but there are other colors available. And if you look around, a good place I think to look would be eBay. Just type in MRW-200 and you'll start to see a bunch of different color varieties. Like I said, only about $20 each. So you can't go too far wrong with this. And the battery should last about 3 years until you need to change it. And you'll be all set. Oh, and as long as I'm here at the table, let's weigh this watch. See how much it weighs in it. Oh, just 37 grams. See, not bad at all. Nice. Okay, 38 grams. But a nice, lightweight, comfortable watch compared to, say, this G-Shock here. It's one of the lighter G-Shocks, but it weighs 55 grams. And here's a little bit more, more metal on this inexpensive Casio diver style watch. And that's 92 grams. So, this one really, really lightweight and comfortable at just 38 grams. Oh, and just one more thing before I forget. This is how much glow-in-the-dark material you have on the face of the watch. This particular one just has it there on the hands and the tip of the second hand. So, it's not always going to show up great, especially if you don't have one of these UV lights to charge it up. But there's some pretty good glow-in-the-dark material there, at least on the hands. So there you go. The general size of this watch, I think it's a little bit on the smaller side compared to other men's size watches or G-Shocks or stuff like that. But it's a little bit on the larger size for a women's watch. My wife really likes those little tiny, watches that some women like to wear. So I think this is a good overall, all-around watch that anybody could wear this. Men, women, children, maybe about 10 years old and up. This would be an okay size for them. And I hate to say it, but if you've got a child that maybe you think is not going to be super responsible for a watch, they're going to lose it at the park or something like that, maybe this one's not so bad because it doesn't cost that much. But it does, keep really good time, and it's a pretty good watch. So I would say give it a try. I happen to get this one at half price, but even at full price, you're talking $20 or maybe even a little bit less. So there you go. And I will get out of selfie mode for my next upcoming episode. So please stay tuned for the Good Timekeeping Show.